Hello, it's Angel here. Welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Lovely to meet you. If you're a returning subscriber, hello, welcome back. Lovely to have you here as well. So today I was kind of thinking about starting a new tarot tag. Hashtag I've got a deck for that. And the premise around this tarot tag is that we are going to have a list of prompts that we're going to follow, and it will all become clear in a few moments when I start the tag. If you'd like to do a response to this tag once you've seen it, you're very welcome. Tag me in it so that I can see your response. I'd love to be able to have a nosy at your answers to these prompts. With that being said, I think we're going to get this show on the road and we're going to get started. Let's jump in with the first prompt. Okay, so the first prompt is a deck to represent your favourite movie genre. Now, my favourite movie genre is, I'm going to say like horror mixed in with like sci-fi. So for instance, I love films like Resident Evil, 28 Days Later, Alien vs Predator. That's an amazing film. I usually put that on while I'm crafting. I sit in front of that and, paint away and journal away, when I'm making my junk journals. I love that film. That's a total cozy, comfy crafting film for me. The Shining, for instance, World War Z, all the weird and wonderful films like that. So anyway, so this is the deck that's going to represent that category or that genre. This is Tarot Oscuro. This was a mass market deck that I managed to get my hands on. It was quite expensive when I purchased it. Let me just show you the back. Sorry, these are the backs. They're edged in like a black colour. Well, they're not. It's not a black colour, it's black. And these are, yes, weird and wonderful. It's all a bit bizarre. Whoever came upon these cards had an amazing imagination. And that's why I really love them. I even like films like Sleepy Hollow, The Haunting of Bly Manor. That's not a film, obviously. That's a series. Or The Haunting of Hill House, I think it's called as well. Things like that. I love all that kind of stuff. Yeah, love it. So these cards totally encapsulate that genre for me, I've got to say. I don't tend to use this deck very often. I wonder why. But when I did use it, I've got to say the readings weren't as harsh or like to the point as I expected. They were quite kind, I'm going to say. So I should get this deck out again. I love this, and I love this too. It's very cool. We're moving on to prompt number 2. Okay, so prompt number 2 is a deck to represent your favourite film. Now, I've just said my favourite genre is like horror and sci-fi combined. However, my favourite films are like, I'm going to say like The Wizard of Oz, which doesn't fit into that category at all. Or Grease, for instance. Those kind of feel-good sing-along films. They would definitely be on my top film list. This is the Triple Weight Tarot. I've edged mine in like a metallic green colour. And this deck totally embodies like The Wizard of Oz and even Grease. Because when I watch those films, they just make me smile from ear to ear. I'm singing my heart out. I'm happy as Larry. They're just feel-good films. They're totally feel-good films. And when I look at this deck, this is a feel-good deck because of all the stars in it. I'm trying to show you here, which hopefully you can see them, glistening across the card. And like the colours in this deck, they just make me so happy. So for that reason, this is my deck to represent my favourite film. Doesn't look anything like The Wizard of Oz, and it definitely doesn't look anything like Grease. But just for the same feeling that I get from this deck, that's the reason that I've chosen this one. I wouldn't say I use Rider-Waite-Smith decks particularly very often. But when I get this one out, it just makes me smile from ear to ear. So yeah, for that reason, this is definitely that deck. So there we go. We're moving along to prompt number 3. So, prompt number 3, a deck to represent my favourite colour. And that's got to be this one. This is the Star Child Tarot. This is by Danielle Noel. It's the indie version. I do believe there is a mass market French version. I believe Gigi has got that from, I think the channel name is Gigi Starling. I'll link their channel in the description box. Anywho, these have got beautiful gilding, love the backs, and this is the reason. I mean, look at this card. Look at this card. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit and say that my favourite colour combination is pink, turquoise, and purple. And this deck, oh, it just sings of those colours. It's beautiful. Let me do this so you can see the cards a little bit better. So yeah, for that reason, I love, 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 love these cards. Now, what I don't love about this deck is the cardstock. I've mentioned this several times before. They're, you know, rose petal, and unfortunately they're too rose petally. Is that a phrase? Is that a is that a descriptive word? I don't think so, but I think you know what I mean. They just like to stick together. They want to love and hug and squeeze each other. Much to my disgust when I'm trying to shuffle them, they kind of shuffle in like a block. So yeah, but apart from that, they are beautiful. And as you'll see, like that colour palette continues throughout the whole of the deck. It's gorgeous. So I'm cheating with this one because I've chosen 3 colours. But you know, I mean, they're beautiful colours. What can I say? This last one. So yeah, there we go. That's the deck to represent my favourite colour. Okay, prompt number 4. A deck to represent my childhood self. And that's got to be the Halloween Tarot. I love this deck. Now, I didn't get it in that long ago. I think I got it in last September, October. And I've kind of dragged my heels on getting this one. And when I got it, I was like, why have I been waiting so long? This totally taps me into my my inner child. Mainly because when I was all the way through growing up, from I would say maybe like 5 years old to maybe till I was like 11 or something, 10, 11, I had Halloween party every single year, which my mum, you know, arranged. And we had like, you know, we all got dressed up. My friend, I you know, invited my friends and we dressed up as witches and actually I think mainly witches actually and ghosts and things like that. And my mum and I used to decorate our front room and we used to put like cobwebs up and dangly plastic spiders and a really quite big plastic skeleton. Oh, it was so much fun, so much fun. Getting that box down from the attic every October to decorate for Halloween parties was like, oh, amazing. And I got so excited in the run up to these parties that I was sick pretty much every single party a couple of days before. And my mum used to say to me, you know, if you're sick, you can't have a party. And I probably used to be on the sofa, you know, with a sick bucket, you know, and a blanket, you know, really, really poorly because I was so excited about this Halloween party. And that was a tradition every single Halloween. And I remember one Halloween, I didn't get better for the Halloween party and I begged my mum not to cancel it. And I laid on the sofa while my friends played and were dressed up. And I, you know, cheese and pineapple on a stick and sausage rolls and stuff like that. It was great fun. It was great fun. So for that reason, this deck totally taps me into my childhood self. We're moving on to the next prompt. So prompt number 5, a deck that represents your teenage self. And that's got to be the Pulp Girls Tarot deck. Now, I wished I was this cool as a teenager. I wasn't. I was into Take That. Not that I'm saying Take That aren't cool because they are totally cool. But I grew up in the 90s, and I can say I wasn't the coolest kid on the block or on my street. I just wish I was, and for that reason, that's why I love this and this tarot, and that's why this represents my teenage self because I wish I was as cool as these characters in this deck. I kind of get a bit of a 90s vibe with the dress, or you know, not the costume, the clothing is the word I'm looking for in this deck. But they're just so cool and they've got attitude, and I love that. And I definitely had attitude as a teenager. I've got to say, my poor mum, I feel sorry for her. Yeah. So I love this deck, and I used this. I think I used it in October. I'm sure it was October, as kind of like a it sounds a bit bizarre, but like as a palette cleanser. Back in October, I was doing a lot of shadow work, and this kind of broke that up for me and kind of, gave me some breathing space. You're possibly wondering why this is kind of slightly ripped and why it's a bit white. Unfortunately, I made the rookie mistake of edging this deck in purple, which went fantastically well. And then I decided to have the fantastic idea to edge the edges in black, sorry. And instead of taking them separately, individually, I put them in a bundle and went do, and I thought that would be fantastic. And then, of course, when I drew apart the cards, it kind of took off the edging. And I think this deck was quite. It wasn't particularly very expensive. I feel it was under £17, and I feel I had it on pre-order when it came out, and so I didn't feel the need to purchase a new copy. So my plan is, for here you can see, for instance, I'm just gonna black it over in black pen. It just adds a bit of detail to the deck, really. It's my quirkiness and my silliness that meant that it's been a bit damaged, and it'll be fine. I still love it, even though it is a little bit, it needs a bit of TLC. So yes, that was my deck for that prompt. We're moving on to the next one. Prompt number 6, a deck to represent my adult self. Oh, this is exciting. So that deck is this one that comes in this lovely bag. This came in the deck, in the box. This is the French deck. Oh, lordy lord, I always have a mind blank when I try to say this name. Tower of Strange Antlers, Sprouts, Branches, depending on how you translate it. I've edged mine in a brown colour. And this totally sums up me as an adult. I want to be out in the forest. I want to be naked, running amongst the trees, doing rituals in the middle of the woods. Yeah, basically, job free, doing some self-discovery, being at one with nature. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, actually. Do I need to say any more? I mean, who doesn't want to be doing that? So for that reason, this definitely represents the adult version of me. I'm going to just say that, I'm totally not the kind of person that's going to get butt naked in the woods, just FYI. I'm more likely to be outside with, in the summer with long-sleeved top and a scarf and a woolly hat and a coat because I don't want to show any body. As in, I don't want to show my body. But this is just so... This deck is like so wild and free and liberating. I mean, look at this. It's just gorgeous. I totally want to be this person, out and about in the woods. I totally want to be this person. Oh, it's beautiful. And I totally want to be this person. And I most definitely want to be that person. And even that person. And most definitely that person as well. So this is what I am working towards. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's going to take some time. I mean, don't think I'm going to be dashing about in the woods naked, but being a bit more free and wild and open and daring. That's my goal for 2024. So moving on to the next prompt, and the next prompt is a deck to represent your favourite song or music genre. Now, I love 80s music. It's because obviously I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. So it's nostalgia. I love that. So my favourite song is, for instance, is Breakout by Swing Out Sister. I love that song. I love Tiffany. I love Wham, and they're just amazing artists and music. Anywho, when I think of 80s music and I think of that time, I think of simpler times. Being a child, not having so much to worry about, thankfully, not having to, deal with the adult issues that we have to deal with now. So when I think of simpler times and simpler decks, excuse me, I kind of think of this deck, which is Valoria's Tarot by Samantha Rook. Samantha Rook is one of my most absolute favouritists. Is that a word? I don't know. Creators. These are the backs. This is the mass market version. This used to be, or possibly still is actually, an indie deck. It was called Penelope's Tarot, and luckily Rockpool, I believe. Wait, I don't want to lead you astray. Yeah, Rockpool picked it up and and published the deck. Now this could have fallen into the category of my favourite colour because the combination of colour here, we've got a bit of turquoise, we've got some pinks, purpley colours. I love it, it's beautiful, but it's definitely in the category of my music genre and my favourite song, because I think of, as mentioned, the 80s as a simpler time when I didn't have so much to worry about and life was simpler. And the white space around these images and the artwork here just feels simpler, but not in a negative way. I love the artwork. I love Samrook's decks. I think I have all of their decks. I even have a couple of indie decks of theirs as well. Yeah, but you know, with this white space, it just gives you time to breathe when you're, you know, you're reading with the deck. And I tend to use this deck as a palette cleanser, merely because there's less going on in the cards, and it just gives me time to kind of land and really breathe. That sounds really bizarre, but that's what this deck does for me. So yeah, so that was my deck for that prompt. We're moving on to the next one. So the next prompt, a deck to represent your favourite book genre. Now my favourite book genre is most definitely closed circle mystery books. For instance, like Agatha Christie. I love Agatha Christie's books, which kind of made... This was kind of a bit of a difficult one, I felt, when I looked at my tarot shelf, but I chose the Haunted House, or Tarot of Haunted House, to represent this prompt. Now, I'm going to say this is a mass market deck, obviously. Obviously, it's not obvious. These are the bags. These are, I've edged mine in black. And yeah, although this is the Haunted House, or the Tarot of Haunted House, it definitely gives me like a murder mystery vibe. I could imagine the characters in this deck are, you know, characters in a murder mystery novel. You know, you've got the maid, you've got this eccentric person, you've got the butler. I mean, it just, I mean, and sorry, just going back to another of my favourite films is Clue. I don't know if you've seen that. It's actually a comedy, but that's, you know, based on the board game Cluedo, which is a murder mystery, obviously. And I just love those kind of films, and I love that kind of genre of book as well. So Agatha Christie is a definite favourite. Yeah, I love it. And for that reason, I love this bit. I mean, this is, you know, come on, it's just amazing. Got this very early on in my journey. I tend to put this in with my October decks, like my you know, Samhain, spooky Halloween decks. But this one doesn't tend to get a look in during that time. So, you know, I really should pull this out more, you know, other times of the year. So yeah, that was my choice for that prompt. Have you read Agatha Christie? Let me know in the comment section. I mean, and if you have, tell me what your favourite book is. If you haven't read the books, there's also some amazing films out based around Agatha Christie's work. Moving on to the next prompt. So prompt number 9, a deck to represent your favourite TV show, past or present. And that, I think, has got to be Absolutely Fabulous with Joanna Lumley and Jennifer Saunders. Have you seen it? If you haven't, what are you doing here? Go and watch it. It's amazing. It was out in the 90s, possibly finished in the 2000s. Oh, it's just super duper fantastic. I've edged mine in black here. This is the Queer Tarot. Did I say that? I don't think so. I was too busy reminiscing over Absolutely Fabulous. I actually have Absolutely Fabulous on DVD because I'm old school, totally old school. And this deck gives me an Absolutely Fabulous vibe. Why? Well, obviously because the deck is Absolutely Fabulous. It is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but an updated version of the Rider-Waite-Smith clone. There's a lot of diversity in it, and there's, you know, gender fluidity. Was that the word? Wait, let me put it on the screen. In this deck as well, which I really appreciate. The colours in this is just fantastic, but it also reminds me of Absolutely Fabulous, because if you've seen Absolutely Fabulous, you'll know that Eddie, played by Jennifer Saunders, had a quite interesting fashion style throughout the whole of the episodes. So, and that's why this reminds me of that. I mean, this kind of thing. I mean, it's just amazing. So yeah. Oh, talk about trip down memory lane with Absolutely Fabulous. I should totally get that back out on DVD and watch it again. I mean, look at this. It's just amazing. So yeah, there we have it. Absolutely fabulous. So moving on to the next prompt. And the next prompt is a deck that represents your favourite pastime or hobby. Now, my favourite pastime and hobby is obviously, playing with and using tarot and oracle. In a reflection of my healing path. My beginner witch practice also is, a real favourite. Reading is also a favourite pastime. However, these decks are to represent my other favourite hobby and pastime, which is arts and crafts and creating and painting and collaging and making junk journals and throwing paint and stuff and getting messy. So this is the Journey to Enlightenment Tarot. This is a mass market deck. I've edged mine in blue, which I think came out really, really well. And I'm going to show you two decks because I'm going to explain why in just a wee second. This is the Transient Light Tarot. These are the bags, which I think are beautiful. I've edged mine in like a metallic green to match the bags, which I think, was perfect. And these are my reasoning behind these two decks. I'm not saying they pair well at all. I don't think they do, or I've never tried them. I wouldn't know. But this totally reminds me of my junk journaling. I use like old packaging paper that I get from like my Amazon packages, the envelopes I get from my Amazon packages, old magazines and old paper and all that old stuff, and that's why this totally reminds me of that. This one reminds me of like the eccentric collage, different medias and different techniques that I use. So it sounds a bit bizarre, but these two decks totally give me that vibe, and they totally represent that for me. So enough waffling, waffle. I'm going to show you a few cards. Now I've used this quite a bit, and I like it again that it's almost like a palette cleanser because it's got the I'm going to say reserve colour palette. So for that reason, I really enjoy this deck. I love this deck, Journey to Enlightenment Tarot. This one always sits beside me in my tarot cart. I always go to the guidebook for this one because I really appreciate the guidebook. So yeah, I can't really say any more about them. Apart from the fact that I'm really glad they're in my collection. Did I say, I believe this was a Kickstarter. Did I say that? I'm not sure, I can't remember. And I'm so happy that it went to mass market. And I've spoken about this deck before in a video, and Rose Honey Ritual, Meg running Rose Honey Ritual, introduced me to this deck. I saw it on their channel, and I was like, what deck is that? I need to get my hands on that deck. I need it in my life. And I'm so glad I did because I love the guidebook. It is very, Rider-Waite-Smith, obviously. I just love it. I love all this. It feels chaotic, but the readings aren't chaotic. I've said that before as well. I just love it. Love. And this one, as mentioned, it's a bit like Valoria's Tarot. It kind of grounds me, brings me back, calms me down and allows me to breathe, I think, because there's a little bit less going on. Does that make sense? I hope so. So yeah, two more cards and then moving on to the next prompt. Look at this. I mean, they're totally different, but I love them both for very different reasons. So yeah, let's move on to the next prompt. So the next prompt is a deck that represents your favourite holiday destination or your dream holiday destination. And one of my dream holiday destinations is Venice, and for that reason I'm going to be showing this deck. This is the Venetian Tarot. I got this second hand off of eBay, I believe this can still be purchased on Etsy, but don't quote me on that. This is the mini version. It was well loved when I got it, so the gilding was a bit chipped, but it's all good, it's all fine. And this deck, although I didn't initially intend it to be, it tapped into my ancestral practice. My ancestor voices came through on this deck. So yeah, going back to Venice, it's definitely one of my dream holiday destinations, the Maldives being another. Venice is doable for me, so I don't really know why I haven't bit the bullet and done it. It's not because I'm worried about travelling by myself. I love to be by myself, and I have travelled on holiday previously by myself. I don't know what it is. I think it's all about, it's about that video I did recently about 25 wacky questions. What do I hate the most, or what do I dislike the most? And it's having plans. I like the theory of having plans. I like the making of the plans, but then when I have plans, I don't want to do it anymore. And unfortunately, I've kind of arranged for myself like mini getaways before. I've been to Stockholm, for instance, to the old town, and you know, after the first day, I was like, I want to go home now, and I was by myself. I could have totally, gone home. So in theory, I like the idea, but actually doing it, when that day came, I'd be like, I don't want to go now. I want to be at home with my tarot and my cards and my kitty cats, which is terrible. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it in 2024, but 2025, yeah, I think that could work. Who knows? It might happen in 2024. Watch this space. So yes, that was definitely the deck that represented this prompt. Let's move along. So the next prompt is a deck to represent the decade I was born, or you were born. That's got to be this one. I was born in the 70s. I know, can you believe it? The Mother Piece Round Tarot deck. This was another eBay find, and I've wanted it for some time. Liz from West Star Tarot, I believe their channel name is, spoken about this deck quite often, and every time I've seen it on their channel, I've been like, "Ooh, that's really interesting. I really want that deck." And then when I saw it come up on eBay, I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna scoop that one up." I also got a second-hand book on eBay, the Mother Piece book. And then I purchased a new copy of, I think it's called the Mother Piece Rituals or something like that. I'm still working with this deck. I'm studying it like card by card, and I'm actually writing or drawing the card and colouring it in to kind of make me slow down and really savour what's going on in the cards, and to really deep dive into the cards. Does that make sense? And that's really helped, actually, actually drawing the cards, physically drawing them and colouring them in and looking at each of the details has really, really helped to kind of get other messages through. So yeah, so that's what's happening with that one. What's the next prompt? That's a great question. Let's move along. So the next prompt is a deck to represent your favourite flower. Is that an easy question for you, or is that a difficult question? Let me know in the comment section. So my favourite flower is the iris, because I love irises. I think the colour combination, that purple and yellow, is just like chef's kiss. It's fantastic. And this is the deck that represents that for me. This is the Stunning Tarot 3rd edition. And now bear with me here, bear with me. These are the backs. I've edged mine like in a purpley colour. And the suits are actually yellow and purple, amongst other colours. And that's the reason I chose this deck to represent my favourite flower. Let's do this. Here we go. Look, 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 look. This is totally, the colour of an iris. Purple and yellow. It's gorgeous. I love the artwork in this deck. Love the cardstock. I'm even going to say this is like my favourite deck to shuffle as well. Actually, wait, I'm lying to myself. As well as the Unfolding Path Tarot, the indie version. That's also got amazing cardstock. I love the witchiness in the suits here. There's several different suits. We've got like a witchy suit going on. We've got a 1001 Nights. Am I correct in saying that, or should I put the correction on the screen. Oh, editing angel will sort it out, I promise. What else have we got here? We've got mermaids. That's not a mermaid. There we have a mermaid. And the final suit, what would that be? 1001 Nights. The witch's suit. Oh, the Egyptian suit, obviously. Yeah, which would be the yellow suit. Am I not in camera shot? Oh my God, I'm such a nincompoop. Oh, apologies. So yeah, it's upside down. Yeah, that was upside down. How bizarre. So yes, that would most definitely be the deck that represents the iris for me. Look at this hermit card. It's blooming gorgeous. Yeah, next prompt. So the next prompt is a deck that represents your favourite scent. Show a deck that represents your favourite scent. That could be a bit difficult. And my favourite scent, I've got to say, like perfume scent, is for instance Addict by Dior, or maybe like Eden by Sacha. And both of those scents are really powerful. They're, you know, very strong, maybe a little bit spicy. And the deck that makes me think of, that kind of embodies that for me, is the Pasta Tarot. This is the mass market version. This was my wild deck that I used in August, last year obviously. And I had an amazing time with this deck. First of all, the cardstock, it's like, I don't know, is it linen? I don't know, but it's amazing. This was such a fruity, no, that's the wrong word, because the fragrance I've been speaking about haven't been fruity, but it is. This is a fruity, tutti fruity, confident, hot, spicy deck, most definitely. It totally gave me what for, but in a really fantastic way. You know, I was trying to do my deck interview with this deck, and it wasn't having any of it. I kid you not, it threw out the same card, or sort of the two cards, like over and over again. And what I got from that was, stop asking these nincompoopery questions, person, and just get on with it. Don't, you know, I don't want to do things in theory. I want to be doing it in real life. I don't want to be practicing. I want to be, you know, doing it. Does that make sense? Totally makes sense to me. I got the feeling that this deck wanted to, you know, go rogue from the get-go, jump on a little scooter or a moped, and, you know, without a map, go off on a road trip. That's the vibe I got from this deck. I loved it. I love this deck. And so I think I've mentioned in another video that I really want to embody the Knight of Wands this year, that archetype. And this totally, this is the deck I go to for that. When I'm trying to embody my Knight of Wands, it's like this deck, this adventure deck that wants to just do it and not talk about it. They just want to get out there and live it. Does that make sense? Look at this. Oh, I love it. I do really love this deck. Yeah, let's move along. We've got 2 prompts left. Let's do this. So the next prompt, second to last prompt, is a deck that represents your favourite food. Now, my favourite food right at this moment in time is vegetarian sushi. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I found a place in town that makes sushi and even delivers home, which is amazing in the little town that I live in. It's actually unbelievable. And since finding that out last week, I've ordered it twice. Oh, how naughty am I? But anyway, so the deck that represents vegetarian sushi for me, you're never going to go along with this, I know you're not, is the Gentle Tarot. And that is because, wait, hear me out. The whole vegetarian sushi food malarkey totally gives me like a warm hug when I eat that. When I like put that little sushi roll in my mouth, it gives me such a feeling of contentment. And this deck reminds me of that feeling. It is like a hug, you know, in a deck. It's gentle, it's nurturing. I don't know. This is just my sushi deck. What can I say? What can I say? I'm going to be very interested to see what, if anybody does the tag, what they choose for their favourite food deck and how they relate it back to the tarot. I'd be most interested to know. I should have gone with, you know, I should have said that pasta was my favourite food and showed you the pasta taro. But you know, I don't want to lie to you. And you know, think about sushi when it's being made. You know, all gets rolled up in that little squidgy. You know, what's it called? I don't know what they're called. Bits. I don't know. And it's almost like you know, a little hug. It's like a little hug in a bite-sized mouthful. It makes sense to me, I promise. Yeah, this sat on my self-love altar for the longest time. And then, I don't know, it just got put away one day and it's been put away for quite a while. And I need to get it back out again because it's a beautiful deck. I don't have the big guidebook, which I would love to get, but that's going to have to wait. So yeah, that was my answer for that prompt. We're moving on to the final prompt. So the final prompt is a deck that represents your favourite beverage. That could be an alcoholic beverage, that could be, you know, tea, coffee, blah, 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 blah. You choose, you do you, boo. I would love to say something super duper alcoholic, but I'm not going to say that because, you know, I'm going to say my favourite beverage is actually coffee. And that, you know, believe it or not, it's true. It's what I look forward to in the morning when I get up, put the kettle on, you know, make myself a nice big vat of coffee and I'm happy as Larry. And coffee with oat milk, because I don't eat animal products, is like, oh, it's just perfect. And the deck that reminds me of coffee with oat milk is this deck. This is a new one in my collection. Yes, I am on a low buy year. Should I be buying new decks? No, that's another video. This is the, oh, how do you say this? Poesis deck. This is the French version. I stumbled upon this totally by accident on Amazon France. Why was I looking on Amazon France? Yeah, you know, I'm going to answer that question in another video. Next question. Yeah, and I saw this deck on Danny Mystic and Lisa Papez's channel, and even Dustin. Dustin was also talking about this deck, but I didn't want to purchase it indie. And then I stumbled upon it totally accidentally on Amazon France, and I was like, oh, who knew? Maybe you knew that it was out mass market in the French, but I didn't. So I got it home, and I got it home end of last week, I think. And I've been using it with Boadicea Tarot, and oh my goodness me, it's been blowing my mind. This is like coffee with lots of oat milk, isn't it? No? Really? You don't think so? How about this one? You know, coffee with milk. Oat milk. Milk that doesn't come from an animal. I've been out with my friends several times, and you know, I think I've mentioned before, I live in a country that doesn't speak English. Sometimes my brain just goes into meltdown, and we're at a cafe, and I'd ordered coffee, and I didn't want to drink cow's milk because I don't drink or eat animal products, and I couldn't think of the word for like oat milk or soya milk, so I said, in the language that we speak here, I said, do you have milk that doesn't come from a cow? And they were like, they looked at me like quite strangely, and they were like, do you mean oat milk or soy milk? And I was like, yes, please. It was really embarrassing. My friend loves that story. She brings that up quite often. She's like, whenever I make coffee at work, she's like, do you want milk that doesn't come from a cow? And I'm like, yeah. Anywho, that was total, you know, digressing. But I have been having such an amazing journey with this Oracle deck. I'm totally impressed that I stumbled upon it and brought it into my collection. The guidebook is amazing as well. Can I show you the guidebook really quickly? I shouldn't really, but I'm going to. Obviously, you just can translate it with Google Translate, and it's obviously poetry. If you know anything about this deck, the creator has written poetry for every card. Oh, it's just mind blowing. The message I've been getting with it, fantastic. So yes, there we have it. Those were the prompts. I haven't really got anything else to say. If you'd like to do a VR to this, please do so. Please tag me so I can watch it. I would love to see your responses to it. If you want to add your own prompts, do it. Go rogue from the get-go. You do you, boo. Yeah, I'm going to thank you very much for, coming along with me on this journey. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for clicking and watching. And I really hope to see you the next time. Toodaloo!